Greetings, I am CrossKnights, and this is Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud is I don't know if it was a launch title, but it was close. It was very close to the release of the PlayStation 2, so we're talking early 2000s. It's not a roguelike, because there's no permadeath. But it uses procedurally generated dungeons in order to send you to a unique exploring experience each time. I'm not going to get much into the plot. You know, there's a flying dog bird thing, you know that much. But, I like it. I have very fond memories of it. I probably would have recorded this years ago, but I didn't own it until a few months ago. And I needed to sort out my capture card situation, so those are the two reasons. I'm not going to show the intro because it has just tons of spoilers in it. It shows, like, parts from way far into the game. In fact, I'm convinced, like, that part was just shown was probably from, like, possibly the very end of the game. But, you know, it builds up the suspense, I guess. The intro is very, very long. I just want to mention that. It's probably longer than it needs to be to set up the story, but, you know, we'll do that. If you want to skip to see what type of game it is, I'm sure I'll do one type of dungeon, but there's going to be a lot of story set up for this. But yeah, I've been thinking about playing this a long time, and yeah, I guess we got a lot to cover here in this intro. I should really just start it. A book was found in some old ruins. All the scholars who decoded puzzled over the mystery of the book. A world with two moons illuminating the sky. The many dazzling adventures of a young boy. But whether or not this is a true story, do you believe in the story woven in the book? Maybe it's a fantasy that existed only in a boy's heart. Let me tell you this story this ancient book tells of. A magical and magnificent fairy tale. And the hero of this wonderful tale, whose name is... So, whatever, that's obviously not what I'm gonna pick. Guess we're just gonna rock Cross. I don't know. Maybe I should name something different. But I'm me. It's me. I'm the boy. Yeah. And now we take you live to the Dark Shrine, apparently. Pretty dark. I like the purple aesthetic, though. Makes it, you know, it implies evil and darkness, but gives a little bit of light, a little bit of color. You've gathered quite a few of them. I had a hard time finding dancers with the right qualifications. Look at them. Their dance of blood, mixing the blood of witches and that of humans, is a key to breaking the seal. However, I do have some problems. Problems? In order to produce good material, you do need adequate... I see. I'll pay you extra. That should solve your problem, huh? Yes, sir. Thank you. So, when will it happen? Very soon, sir. Alright, here's... The text I'm not advancing. For some reason, they decided to advance some of the text bubbles faster than human speech. So I'm trying my best. Part of me thinks this part's almost like, It's like a PlayStation 2 demo. They're trying to show, like, their rigging and character models. But, again, it's a launch title. I wouldn't pass them to have a sequence like this. Just because it takes such a long time. Flag, sir. Do you know the legend of the Dark Genie sealed in the urn? Of course. How much money do you think I put into acquiring this urn? I've been waiting for this for years, and now its legendary power is mine. "600 years ago, the Genie of Darkness appeared in the East, and with its evil power, the world was burnt away. What do you intend to do with such frightening power in your hands?" You'll see. That's right, twerk to release ancient power. So now is the time. Yes, sir, it seems so. What? This is the genie? The Dark Genie? Well, it's quite different than I imagined. The ancient Dark Genie. This is it? Hey, who are you guys? Welcome back, Genie of Darkness. I broke the seal and released you. Therefore, I am your master. Oh, is that right? Whatever, fine. Oh, that's right. I haven't eaten in 400 years. Done. I need food. I need food. Gotcha! Huh? No, stop it! Help! Delicious. Didn't even take the wrapper off. Hey, how are you today? Cross, it's already started. Come on, let's go. See, I told you. You should have hurried. Come on, we're late. I'm a staff member this year, so I have to go. Sorry. She left you. Cross, hurry up. Yeah, rock out. You can't see it, but I'm currently rocking out. I'm telling you, PlayStation 2 tech demo. It's like, observe what we can do. Cross shall join the dance. Majin Buu, oh. Look at the insects squirm about. Start there. Cross! Well, not all heroes survive through their journey. I'm sure the next guy, though, will be the protagonist. Because that is no way. Hell, these are five. That was, it's a little bit morbid. Oh. Hello there. Can you hear me? Open your eyes. Wake up. Hey! I am the Fairy King. I'm the entity that unites the nature spirits. Listen well, young one. Something bad has happened. Men blinded by greed have revived the Dark Genie. This Dark Genie is terribly powerful. Its power is so great that it could destroy the entire world. You saw it. Your own village being destroyed right before your eyes. Not just your village. In a flash, many villages and towns were destroyed. In one night, half of your world was annihilated. It must be the men from the east that performed the resurrection ceremony, probably thinking to use its black demon power for war without realizing how frightening it is. It is darkness, pure darkness itself. Long ago, this so-called Dark Genie almost destroyed the entire world. Its malevolence is that great. The bad thing is that it has the same type of magic power as us spirits. Unfortunately, we aren't powerful enough to destroy it. Young man, I see you have a strong will that could withstand the evil power. And also a clear, kind heart. You might be able to fight against the darkness it generates. I've decided to stake our fate on you. Let me bless you with power. There. Surprised? It's called Atlamelia. It's a stone with a magical power. Oh, don't look that way, boy. I'll explain now. It might get too bright for your eyes for a moment. Solar flare! Do you know where this is? This is no simple empty lot. This was your village. But do not lose heart. As long as you have that stone, you can return it to its original form. You see, just before the village was destroyed by that genie, I saved the buildings and people by sealing them in spheres called Atla. It seems those Atla were scattered all around by the tremendous magical power. They were probably blown into different places around the world. It probably thinks everything is destroyed. You must restore the world before it realizes what happened. Absorb that which I sealed in Atla using the Atlamelia, and bring them back. Then you'll be able to restore the world to its original form. You may even be able to create a better world than before. You still don't seem to understand anything I'm saying. Oh well, I'll give you another lesson once you acquire some Atlam. So long. And with a hopeful smile, the boy realizes there is hope. Cross, can you hear them? You should be able to hear them. Voices of the wind, voices of the trees, voices of the animals, and the voices of the earth. They are all calling for your help. Cross, you will probably meet and say goodbye to many people. In talking to these people, you may receive clues to defeating the darkness. Look for them. Now, Cross, your adventure will begin. First, go to the village chief's house. He'll show you where to go next. Yeah, it's like a 15-minute intro. So this really used to be my village. It's definitely an empty lot, but I guess this is the one building that survived. Also, if you play this game, the first thing you're going to notice, I'm used to it now because I played it for, like 15 hours practicing. The controls are very loose. Turning's a little bit weird, but you do get used to it. It just takes a while. It's also better to, like, move the, use your right hand to, move the camera constantly, but it's definitely an early PlayStation 2 title, where they got 3D, they got the controls, but they're not really refined to the point where they are right now. Oh, Cross, you're still alive. Seems like we're the only ones in the village that survived. I never dreamed this would happen. Dreamed? Yeah, that's what he said. One night, and our village is gone. Can you believe this, Cross? I feel so helpless. I, the mayor of the village, can't do anything about it. What am I supposed to do now? I guess the only thing we can do is get help from the guardian of Norrune village, Duran. Duran will not abandon us. He'll help us for sure. I have a favor to ask, Cross. Go to the Divine Beast Cave and tell Duran what happened. Divine Beast Cave is the cave outside towards the right-hand side. You've probably seen it before. I may be imagining things, but I sense something has changed about the cave. Be careful. This is the cave key. I put the things you might need in your bag for you. Don't get carried away. If you get into trouble there, come back here, and I'll get you more supplies. Good luck. So that's actually very important. At the very beginning, and here's the menu, anytime you go to the village chief and talk to him, he will give you a water, a bread, a repair powder, an escape powder, and he might give you antidote. I don't know if he actually gives you antidote again. But anytime you use one of them, he'll give you another one. If you have all those things, he will not give you anything. The other thing, it's going to be more obvious why I can do this later. It's actually the biggest thing of the game. But instead of walking someplace, like say I want to walk there, you can actually just hit select, and then go back into walking mode, and you're there. It is the power of my magical gem gauntlet. Where I want to go, though, is that cave right there. Now we'll start the real game. It's a big keyhole. Let's use the cave key. Do the first dungeon, the Divine Beast Cave. So, I mean, I'll explain what you're seeing on the screen right now in the next level, but this is the first stage. Oh! It's for real this time, Cross. From here on, you will be put to the true test. First conquer this wretched divine beast's cave and find Duran's lair. That is your first goal. Since you're a beginner, I'll give you a lesson on how to fight in the dungeon. So yeah, you need to find a gate key in every place. However, you don't know who has the gate key. It is a random monster, so you kind of have to kill all of the monsters until you find it. Next, I will tell you about how to return to the ground floor. So this is all just tutorial stuff. Basically, he will use his magical powers to return you to the surface whenever you want. However, if there are monsters in the way, the monsters, their evil power will block his energies. And if there's monsters, you need an item called escape powder. I have it, the mayor gave it to me. If there's not monsters, I don't need an escape powder. I can just leave anytime I want. So when you re-enter the dungeon, you can start at the next new level, so you don't have to worry about losing progress. Alright, now here's probably one of the worst part of the game. There's weapons. All weapons are very breakable, and if they break all the way, then they disappear. And considering the main way you level up in this game is through weapons, not through your character does increase in like health and defense, but that's it. Everything else is your weapons. If you break a weapon, like most of the time, you're going to be resetting. Your default weapon can never break, but if it breaks, it goes down, like it loses all of its levels and power. So, and your default weapon's never going to be that powerful anyway, so. Yeah, and I cast a special spell so the dagger will never disappear, but if it breaks, it's almost as bad as it disappearing. And it'll just do 1 damage while being broken. Alright, finally, the important stuff. The sphere. Atla, where I protected and sealed the fragments of the world. If you see Atla, don't hesitate to touch it. You can absorb the contents of Atla with Atlamelia by touching it. So if you see the balls, you touch them, and they'll be absorbed into your gauntlet. Today's lesson ran a little bit long. That's all for the lecture today. Now, Cross, show me your true ability on this quest. This is the part where I purposefully die instantly so that he realizes he made a mistake. Alright, so here's my first guy. So here's the actual game. This is what you will be doing most of the time. Is going up to balls, cracking them open. Prepare to see this animation if you continue your journey with me. Hundreds of times. We got a skeleton. So, when you fight, you don't have to lock on, it's just easier. You can just do that, hit people. Yeah. But it's better to lock on. You can see their health when you do that. You can rotate around them. You have a combo that you do with this character. Different characters work differently. But, lock on. You see that speed bar? Once it gets unfilled, I won't be able to, like, attack anymore until it fills up. I just found the exit key very quickly. In addition, there's a charge move, which is very important later on. I just jumped at him by holding the attack button. It's important because there's invincibility frames. If you're using it, you can't be damaged, which is huge. And I just got a prickly. That's for the fishing minigame, which I have never tried and kind of meant to before I started recording this to see if it was worth it. By the next episode or two, I'll have tried it. We'll see if it's worth it. But the bait for the fishing game sells for a lot of money. So, a lot of times I just didn't. I was just like, I'm just going to sell the bait if I'm not going to fish. But for all I know, I've been missing like an incredibly important part of the game. I was unfortunately just poisoned, which is terrible. A poison's really annoying. You can't just ignore it. It takes away percentile damage of your health. And if you're at 1 HP, it's not one of those poisons that just like puts you at 1 and doesn't kill you. It outright kills you, so no longer poisoned, and I'm also going to eat this bread. The other factor, which is really dumb, you see those 2 little water droplets below my meters on the left? That is my thirst. If I run out of water, become thirsty, it's basically like I've been poisoned. I will gradually start losing health, so you need water to replenish it. However, this is probably one of the stupidest mechanics in the game. Not because it's terrible, just because it like has almost no effect on you. There's very few situations once you get past a certain point where it's going to matter water. Because there's water around in certain caves that not only heals you, but also completely fills your water. You can also get upgrade items to make it so that you have more water icons to the point where like you'll be able to go through a whole dungeon without worrying about thirst. And every, like, 2 dungeon floors, you're probably going to find a pond to just replenish your thirst anyway. I got a map earlier that outlays the... Well, it creates a map. In the places that I haven't explored as well as the places I have explored. There's another item that shows all treasure chests, Atlam, and monsters. But I didn't get that. Also, as I'm attacking... And that weird guy is going to describe this later. So I found the bone key that opens the bone door that's in most or all dungeons. As I'm killing monsters, my weapon is getting experience. I'm also getting... It's getting damage. That beeping isn't for my health, it's for my weapon. There we go. So if I go to my weapon, I can, use my 1 repair powder that I have. So now I have full weapon, and you have to do that constantly. It's like your swords have ammo. But you see ABS, my abs, that's my weapon experience. Once that gets up to full, which is I just need 2 more now, my weapon will level up and become a dagger +1. Ooh. Power up powder. Awesome. Now this is a thing that's... Alright, let's see what it does. Pumped with energy, cool. There are magic circles on the ground that do random things. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. The worst one is that your weapons will lose permanent durability, like forever. Also, notice my water gauge. Gulp. Full heal, and full water. Yeah, it'll decrease your max weapon health sometimes. That's really bad. Sometimes it increases it, but I've had really bad luck in my practice playthrough. But now I can level up. So the way leveling up works is, first of all, you can equip little gems to your... Well, you know what? I'm going to wait till I find some of those gems before I even explain that. For right now, though, I'm just going to upgrade. And now I have a dagger +1. Note, I would never upgrade without gems as fixed normally, but this is my default dagger. I'm not going to be using it. The second I get another weapon, I'll be trading it out, in fact. Also, you notice the enemies are flashing green. That's because this is a wind-elemented dagger. And elements are kind of interesting in this game simply because you kind of get to choose what element you're going to use on your weapon, and you can affix gems to change what it is. I'll show you here. Here's your attributes. You notice I have a 4 in wind. I can deactivate it if like everyone was strong against wind or whatever. But if you have even 1 point in any element, you can then change it to that element. But this only has wind affinity, and I don't have any gems to change that. So for right now, it's wind. If there's enemies that take extra damage from wind, then I'll do more damage to them. And vice versa. Some things are strong against wind. Some things will be like immune to wind. Now that thing came way too late, but you notice I can see the Atla here, and the remaining 1 bat that is here. So we got a fence. Let's just heal up. Those the water ponds are actually like they're really common in the first dungeon, but not as common in the other ones. They're there. It's just not guaranteed that there's going to be one on every floor. Like where here's like there's 2 on this floor for God's sake. And I got a river. So those are parts of my town. They have been absorbed into my wrist, and according to the old man, I can restore them. So let's go to the exit, and then I will go back to the field that used to be my town and see what we can say. Alright, there's a big keyhole. So we put in Duran's crest, and we go down. Now there are like 16 to 18 floors in each dungeon, and I forgot how many dungeons there are total. It's either 5 or 6. Yeah. I'm thinking 5. But, you know, the game's not that long. It's probably a good 30 hours. It's not going to be a 30-hour recording, though, I'll tell you that much. There's going to be some editing later on, for sure. Way more than there was from that dungeon. Ha Seems you finally come back with some Atla. Very well, then. I shall teach you as I promised. The pieces sealed inside of Atla are released by touching the Atla with your left hand, where the power of Atlamelia resides. Buildings and people that were sucked into Atlamelia will be restored to their original form. Once you bring them back to the ground level, you can arrange them as you wish. By going back and forth between the dungeon and ground level, you can restore the Earth to its original form. That's your mission as the one who has been granted the power of Atlamelia. Now, let us move on. This may get a bit technical. Alright, so now he's just explaining how to place buildings. Wow, this is actually a pretty cool town setup. Maybe I should keep it like this. Oh, that's kind of cool. He's explaining the walking, teleporting, and the editing mode. I'm going to explain all this myself. Seeing is believing. Try it yourself. Must be faster than listening to my lecture. Oh, yes. If you ever forget the things I teach you, you can use this. The Owner's Manual! It's a guide for using Atlamelia and other things. I wrote it for beginners like you. The manual can be selected from the main menu. Stop being non-diegetic. You're breaking the fourth wall with your friend. Main menu. What you talking about? Okay, I leave the world's resurrection to you. I'll be watching. So long. Just gonna blast into space now. Bye. Alright, so here's what he was trying to explain. This is why you can teleport. They didn't want you to have to walk when you can recreate the town. And this is the coolest aspect of the game. It's the town creation. If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have fond memories of this game. It's just a really cool concept. But you go here, you go to your configuration assembly, and here are some of the items I found. Now, I found Macho's house. So we're going to put Macho's house, I don't know, right here. And it is physically on the world. I can actually watch it. Now, going back and forth between the dungeon is important because when you put down new things, you get items. Now, those weren't very important, but those gems I was talking about to affix to your weapons are something that will eventually start appearing around. If you go into the house, there may also be treasure chests around. There aren't, but there could have been. Unless, can't open any of that. So it's not just about putting down a house. The houses are never in one piece. They were broken up by the power of the Dark Genie. However, there's little holes that you can affix things to. Now, hopefully, yes. I don't think the first level is random, but the levels after that are random. I think you always get Macho's house and Macho. I'll just put some little trees around. I don't know. And it's just really cool that you can, like in a God mode type fashion, make the town and then actually walk in it on the ground level. I think like almost all God mode games would benefit from something like that. You know, actually being able to experience what the characters are experiencing when you make a town. That makes it way better. So like I just made this road. I just made the river next to the road, and there's Macho walking on the road. Hey, Cross. I missed you, man. Your smile really brightens my day. So every character will have an introduction line that you do, and then these four things. Like, without fail. There'll be hello, that'll just be their regular talking. If you see my big bro, tell him you didn't see me, okay? I'm counting on you. This guy was dancing at the party, if you remember. Then you can ask for advice on how you build, or how you're going to rebuild the town that you're in. Fighting is what a man should live for. It's a basic fact of life, right? And what that is the villagers will have requests. When the ferryman said you might even be able to make the world better than it was, you can rebuild the village to be better than it was and make everyone happy with their houses and various other things. I'm not going to fulfill the request right now, but the brothers want to be over here next to the dungeon because they like to go into the cave and fight monsters to train. Also, you might notice that there's time passing. There's a time system in this. Okay, so the more important thing to ask someone is tell me how to rebuild your house. Look, don't forget to expand my room. And the barbell. Put that outside. Now, you might have noticed that when I was making his house, there were question marks. these question marks have been revealed. Now, I don't have the things that go in here, but I know that he has a room expanse and a barbell. So you usually have to talk to the resident of a house. It's not always, but you usually have to talk to them at least once before you can complete it. When you complete a house, then you get an event, and they usually give you something. And that is where the final option... Now, where did he run off to? He might... Oh, there he is. The final option is what will happen when it's done. If I complete their house... that you should ask my big bro. They will give you a tip on what they're going to do for you to help you on your journey. It is the first night of my journey. Time advances, and it'll tell you how many days it's taking you to do things. Not that that really matters as far as I know. I don't think there's any reward for doing everything really fast or any penalty for doing anything slow. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. And I believe that's all I can do right now is what I did based on what I have. Because I have a lamp. This house doesn't have a lamp. I have old Gaffer who runs the local store, but I don't have the local store, so I can't put him down. And I have a fence. And a fence isn't something that you can just like put around the town. It's specific to a house. Glad I had enough space. I didn't even think. I might have not have had enough space. Also, I just looked at my original file. I've spent 17 hours playing this. I've ended up liking it a lot better than I thought I would. I was a bit worried that I was going to get bored of it, but I haven't beaten it in my practice playthrough, but I have tried it out. In any case, this is the first episode. I don't like to make first episodes of things too long, and this is already a bit longer than I'd like to make a first episode, but long intro, wanted to explain things. There's still more to explain, especially with the weapon system. And, you know, we're going to rebuild this town, and then I'm going to defeat that Dark Genie. Might take me several dozen episodes, but with editing, I don't think it'll be too long. Anyway, I hope you guys like the game. I hope it's interesting to watch, because it's one of my favorite. I've been thinking about doing it ever since I was in the Oozing Inn from Die Tonight. I think TrickPick, I think he was the one that showed me a clip from it, and he was just like, you have to play this game because of this scene. Now, that scene's not going to be for a very long time, but ever since I saw that, I was like, this game is way crazier than I remember it being. And if you just describe what some of the things that happen in this game really, it gets crazy. It doesn't always seem like it at the time, but then you think about it and like, what the hell's going on? But, yeah, I will see you guys on floor 2, as I will try to save Norune, my hometown. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to my patrons. I'll see you guys next time. Later.